in 1946, he invented the first on-wheel balancer.
Okay.
Right. Today you call it the on-wheel balancer or finishing balancer. In 1955, I think, Light Align, that was the first wheel balancer, which was basically, which actually set the industry standards.
Himanputra has been a hunter distributor for
close to 15 years. Yeah.
15 years.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on our company in each of those areas?
It's
sales,
like a
service.
You can sell a product the first time, but to maintain and to sell again, it all depends on the level and the support or service that he have provided for the customer.
Hai Sobat HPC, selamat datang kembali di HPC Corner ke-9. Nah, setelah didatangi tamu dari Italia, kali ini kita didatangi tamu dari perusahaan Amerika nih, yaitu Mr. Aftar Singh. Nah, kebetulan Mr. Aftar Singh ini baru selesai memberikan training dan update knowledge terbaru ke tim Himanputra. Nah, saya mau ambil kesempatan ini dengan Mr. Aftar untuk membicara mengenai program training yang baru saja beliau jalankan untuk tim kami. Nah, saya juga mau tanya-tanya mengenai perusahaan Mr. Aftar supaya teman-teman Sobat HPC juga bisa lebih mengenal perusahaannya. Yuk, disimak aja. Mr. Aftar, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Kevin.
Yes, it's
thank
a
you for having me here.
Yeah, welcome. So, Mr. Aftar, how long have you been in the automotive industry, and maybe how long have you been with Hunter as well?
Basically, we're looking at the whole time. It's more than 43 years.
Wow,
Kevin.
43 years?
Yeah, 43 years basically, or more than 43 years, but 43 years being in the regional representative area actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 43 years, that's longer than I've been alive.
And from these 43 years, I think this is my 17th year in Hunter.
Wow,
right?
17 years ago.
Right, and prior to this, I was in SPX Corporation, another US-based automotive equipment company, for about 16 years.
16 years.
Yes, right.
So that's a very long tenure in the automotive industry. I'm sure you've seen a lot of things. I guess you must be very passionate about the industry.
Basically, that's the only thing that you have learned and the only thing you can do, right? So apart from automotive, I don't think there's any other area which you can fit in right now.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, okay. So you've been with Hunter for 17 years. What's the story of Hunter? How did Hunter become the world leader in wheel liners?
Basically, I don't know if you know the legacy of Hunter. It's way back in the 1930s.
Wow.
Right.
So that's almost 100 years.
Yeah. No. 70 over years, basically.
70 over years.
Right.
Okay.
Somewhere in the 1936 or there, a young man, 23 years old, all right, an architecture engineering student, basically was having problems with his car battery.
Okay.
Right. His car battery was being discharged, and it took more than 24 hours just to recharge.
Wow.
Right.
And we're talking about the small batteries.
Batteries,
because
right.
we didn't have electric vehicles back then, right?
And that was not acceptable to him, right?
24 hours.
So, and he came and designed the first battery charger by himself, right?
Wow.
And from 24 hours, that bring down the charging time to less than 1 hour.
Wow. That's impressive.
And basically, that was one of the first equipment that he manufactured or designed. And the sales were just like, every time you the more you make, and everything was gone. All right. That I believe was something in 1936 onwards at the time, right? And then 1 year after that, he basically the first unit that he designed was a little big, I believe, and then after about 2 years, he made it smaller, right? So it will be more acceptable and can easily store it in workshops and all that. All right. And the name of that charger was basically Quick Charge.
Quick Charge.
Quick Charge.
Okay.
All right. It was the first rapid battery charger.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
developed at the time.
Less than an hour.
Yeah. Right. 24 hours to 1 hour.
Wow.
Right.
5%.
Right.
And what's the name of this man?
And Mr. Lee Hunter.
Mr. Lee Hunter himself.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
That's where the company got the name.
Correct. Right. And then 2 years later, in 1938, as I said, he shrunk the unit to much smaller, and he called it the Rocket Special.
The Rocket Special. Okay.
Right. That was in 1938.
1938. Wow.
Okay. And after that, in 1946, he invented the first on-wheel balancer.
Okay.
Right. Today you call it the on-wheel balancer or finishing balancer.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which I think very few Italian companies now still do manufacture that. Right.
I think Hunter doesn't have that anymore.
No,
either.
no, it's gone long time ago. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first basic balancer.
So the on-car balancer has been here since 1940.
46.
46. Oh, okay.
Right. Right. And a few years later, I think somewhere in the 1950s, that's where the first sales team and the service team of Hunter were put together. Yeah. And of course, once this balancer was introduced, car companies like GM and Ford, basically that was one of the essential equipment for them already. Started using it.
So Hunter had already had good working relationships with the OEMs.
Right.
From a very long time ago.
Right.
The 50s.
Correct.
So how did a Hunter get into the wheel alignment business? That's what we know them best for now.
Right. From the balancer, then somewhere in 1955, I think, Light Align, that was the first wheel balancer, which was basically which actually set the industry standards. That was the first wheel aligner that basically set the industry standard, and it was called Light Align, right? And it was developed and manufactured by Hunter Engineering Company. All right.
This was using the
lines,
strings,
and all that.
Okay,
correct. Okay. And anything after that, basically, Kevin is history. You know.
Yes.
Today we are one of the largest manufacturer of automotive wheel service equipment, right? In the sense of wheel aligners, right? Wheel balancers, tire changers, aligner racks, all right? We also have now gone into the equipment, inspection equipment like quick check drive and quick tread, right? For inspection centers, which without this equipment, it will take a very long time to manually inspect every tread on the trailer. Yeah. So imagine if a big trailer has 36 wheels, the time it takes to do that.
But whereas you just drive through it.
You just drive through it within seconds. You have a full printout of the results of that. Yeah.
And I think Mr. Lee Hunter's innovative spirit is still passed down to today's engineers in Hunter, right?
Right. We have more than 100 overhead full-time engineers working on all these 6 line of equipment.
Absolutely. Wow. So what is throughout your time working at Hunter, what would you say is Hunter's approach or philosophy to business and product development?
Basically, business development and product development are 2 different areas, right?
Sure.
Right. On product development, basically, it's an ongoing thing. We have more than 300 in-house patents on all the products that we manufacture, right? And we have, I think at this moment, about 100 over full-time engineers.
Wow.
Right? Full-time engineers. I think the highest in this industry.
Yeah.
Basically churning out all the equipment that you can see right in front of me here.
Yeah.
On the business development side, I think this it is a very, very important approach from the company, right? It's actually one of the most important departments which basically help marketing and sales in terms of doing a lot of groundwork for us, right? In-house, all these are done in-house, right? Like business development helps us to do surveys, basically tools for key account development, red carpet visits, customized books, and all kind of things in that sense.
Okay. So what it sounds to me like is Hunter's approach is twofold. They're constantly doing innovations with the patents and the engineers, but also they're trying to make sure that these patents and these new technologies are in accordance to what the industry needs.
Correct.
So that's why they're doing all these customer surveys. Right. They're in touch with the end user of the machines.
Right. Okay. Basically, the name of the company is Hunter Engineering Company.
Yes.
So basically, we are a measuring company, right? Basically, we measure and those measurements are basically taken and compared to manufacturer specifications, and that's about all.
But so that's why they try to come up with ways that they can help the technicians work.
Correct. Again, I think today, if you look at the whole industry, there is a big shortage of skilled manpower everywhere. Yeah, and to train manpower, it takes a long time. So the way the Hunter products are driven today are basically to make it as simplified, so that a new technician comes in, and within a very short period of time, for him to get familiar and be able to operate the equipment within the shortest period of time.
I see, I see. And that's something that Hunter has decided to do in response to the trend of difficulty finding manpower.
Correct.
I see. So Hunter likes to keep their ear close to the ground, make sure they know what's going on in the industry.
Right.
That's good. Because sometimes certain companies can innovate just for the sake of innovating, and then it just turns out to be a product that's overpriced but doesn't give many benefits to the users. So I think Hunter focuses on the benefits for the users.
Correct. And I don't know whether if you're familiar that every piece of equipment that Hunter makes are connected at the moment, right? And all this equipment are connected to the internet. Even our entry-level tire changes to the brake lathe, and of course the aligners and the balancer has been there for a long time. So this, by doing this, basically all the results that comes out from all this equipment can be immediately, being posted to the owner of that vehicle for which you're working for, or stored in the internet.
I see. That's really interesting.
And I don't think any other manufacturer in the industry at the moment has got things like that.
Yeah. So currently, I think you mentioned that you're you are in the regional manager role, right? What does that entail? What do you do, and what's your day-to-day look like?
Basically, my position as the regional manager for Southeast Asia at the moment, looking after 9 countries in this region. I look after, of course, the most important is to make sure that the goals of the company are met, in the sense that sales is the most important. All this distributor have targets, so I have to ensure that the quarterly and the monthly and the half yearly and the yearly targets are achieved. That's the most important. Number 2, the manpower in terms of sales and service are trained, right, continuously. Number 3 is they have sufficient stock, right, so that they can sell and deliver the equipment to the customers in the shortest period of time, right? And of course, all their training and marketing needs.
Sure. Yeah. And I understand as well, I think we've talked in the past about how some countries that didn't have distributors are now getting distributors. Is that something you work with as well? You find the distributors and set them up?
Yeah, that's a continuous process, actually. Basically, in fact, we have distributors in most of the countries in Southeast Asia for me, exception of, I think, today, I would say Myanmar and Laos. These are the only 2 countries that we don't have a distribution channel. Other than that, we are very much placed. And yes, that's one of my biggest responsibility.
I see.
To ensure that we have the right distributors in each country, and they are well trained, both sales and service, and
Sure. So going back to that training, you're actually here because you just spent 2 days training our team. So can you tell us what you did and what were your areas of focus?
The sales training basically has been an ongoing process.
Yes.
But in the past, most of this was done in-house in US, right? But as you know, to sell a capital equipment like Hunter, a premium price equipment, basically, you need to demonstrate the equipment, right? You just no longer you can use the old where you just go to a customer with a catalog and and try to sell it. So right now, basically, you have to demonstrate the equipment, and to demonstrate the equipment, we are going through a process where we are making sure that all the sales representative of our distributors are trained so that they will be able to demonstrate the equipment to the customers, number one. Number two, they understand all the benefits and features, right?
Sure.
So this is we started this in 2024, right? And it's going to go on. So we're going to have a refresher course every year, yeah. So so that they can keep in track as and when the new equipment is introduced.
Okay, great. So yeah, you know, in the past 2 days, you've trained our sales representatives, sales consultants at Himawan Putra, and so that they can do the demonstrations, they know the features and benefits more. What benefits do you hope that the workshop owners can gain through Himawan Putra by letting them do these demonstrations?
I think the first thing is the confidence of the salespeople when they meet up with the customers now.
Sure.
And this, this confidence basically will definitely turn into sales, if not in a short period of time, in a longer period of time. Yeah. And again, with this training that we have given them, I think they can go in the marketplace more confidently now. Yeah. In the past, basically, being a sales consultant or sales rep, whatever you call it in different countries, they were just like the guy taking orders, right? Although they know what the equipment is, but on the operation part, they were basically lacking. Right? So we're trying to fill that part now.
Sure.
We're trying to take them to a certain level of skill. Yeah. And I'm confident that the last 2 days, the training that he went through has helped a lot.
That's good.
And if they can even take back 20 to 30% from this training, I'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, because we covered quite a lot of things.
Right. Yes. I mean, to cover everything in 2 days is
it's not enough time.
Right. Because in the past, a lot of times, the price factor, everything was priced,
Yes.
and now with the better understanding of what the equipment can offer them, I think they'll be more comfortable.
Yeah, they can show the customer the right product for their needs.
Exactly.
Because sometimes the cheaper product is not always the right product.
And why is the value added on?
Yes. How they can actually make back that price difference really quickly, just like that. Sure. So I think you mentioned as well earlier that you sometimes set up distributors. I mean, not over 17 years, you've done most of it already, but in this Southeast Asia region, there's only like 2 or 3 countries left that don't have distributors yet. So what's usually going through your mind when you're evaluating potential partners for Hunter?
Again, it all depends on a specific country. Yeah, we look into a lot of factors like the VIO's, vehicle in operation, population of the country, and what is the market size.
Sure.
Right. Once we have all these factors, and then we assess to ensure that of course, one of the most important criteria is for the distributor to be able to have the right sales force, the right service people, and the right amount of stocks, so that they can effectively cover the market.
Okay.
You see?
So you said sales, service, and stocking.
Right? Yeah, that's very, very important for us. And the other area, which is a training center and a full-fledged showroom as well. Right.
Okay, let's discuss that one by one. In terms of sales network, what are the expectations for a Hunter distributor's sales force?
The sales force, but of course, first thing is we will have to train them. We fully train them, and once they are trained, they should be able to cover the market effectively.
Okay.
Right. Country like Indonesia, with so many islands, and getting from one place to the other is a real challenge, right? So specific plans and different methods have to be adopted so that the whole market can not only be covered effectively in sales, but also be able to be supported technically and servicely.
Okay, I think you also mentioned that they need to be trained. So what qualities does a Hunter distributor sales rep need to possess to be able to go through the training?
Basically, we would love them to be English speaking. That is the easiest, but that's always not so easy. Easier said than done, right? So, like for instance, Indonesia, of course, Bahasa Indonesia is, and we have a lot of, or we provide a lot of help in sense of training. If the requirement, or if we need to have an interpreter, right, during that period of time, yes, we have the best in that sense. And a lot of times here, like, you know, you are helping out in that goal, right? So again, it depends on country to country, but effectively, of course, language understanding and a minimum understanding of automotive will be of great help. Yeah, so that it will be easier for them to catch up. Technical knowledge for sales guys, not so much at the moment, but preferred if they have it.
Yeah. Okay. What about for service?
Basically, for the service side, if you look at Hunter, every service rep that comes in goes through an 8 weeks of first training. You know, that's just the first part. And after 6 months, they have to come back for another few weeks, right? To make sure that by the time they leave, they know basically everything, you know, how to maintain, properly maintain all this, right? So these, again, the training part is very important. In US, we follow a very strict period of time, minimum period of time for each of them, right, before they qualify and leave Hunter Engineering to go into the field. But for the distributors, it might be a little different. Of course, most of distributors during the appointment, during the period of appointment, they have visited Hunter, right, to do a minimum of 2 weeks of training in service. I think you guys have been there a couple of times as well.
So how does that translate to the benefits that of the workshop owner, of the customer?
Definitely, okay. Selling a product is the easiest thing, Kevin. You know, you can sell a product the first time, but to maintain and to sell again, it all depends on the level and the support of service that you know he provided for the customer. You know, if you do not do a good job in that area, I think you can forget about selling the next kit.
So no matter what the equipment is, how high tech, how advanced, sometimes there will be times when it breaks down.
Right.
I guess that's where the service comes in.
Definitely. You should be able to support and get the equipment up and running within the shortest period of time.
Sure. And then for you said the training facility. What kind of training facility is recommended or is Hunter looking for in a distributor?
Right. On the training part, again, our requirement is basically you have the full range of equipment in the training center, which are in working condition, of course. You know, not like in a showroom just for show, but this equipment have to be able to be demonstrated, right? So we say the full range of equipment with demonstration of this.
Okay. So for training purposes and demonstration.
Okay. So you can bring your customers in house, you know, and show them exactly how the equipment works with all the features and the benefits, and you know how it will help them.
Okay. Well, so you know we've worked together for, I think Himanputra has been a Hunter distributor for
close to 15 years.
15 years. Yes. So what are your thoughts on our company in each of those areas?
It's
sales,
like
service.
I still remember. I mean, I was in my just about 2 years in Hunter when I appointed, you know, PT Himanputra at that time.
But what do you? So what are your thoughts on our current sales force, service force, and then the stock and maybe the service, the training center and the showroom as well?
Okay. I think from, as I said, from the last 2 days, the interest shown by them, the dedication shown them, tremendous. I'm very, very happy. Right?
Thank you.
Definitely, I would say that.
Appreciate that.
On the service side, definitely, I think most of them are well trained, right? We're going to undergo a same certification program, just like we are doing for the sales, also for the service, all right? But this certification is going to be done by Hunter Engineering Company training division, right?
What about the training center and showroom?
I think your training center is at world-class level.
Oh, thank you.
Right, and of course, I mean the same thing for your showroom and some of the other facilities that you can see here. You know,
Thank you. appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words.
Because just like you guys are growing, Hunter needs to grow as well.
Yes. So as a representative of the world leader in alignments, we've noticed that there are some SOPs or procedures that Hunter teaches us or recommends in their alignment machines that other aligners don't recommend. For example, they tell us, oh, we shouldn't push the car body when we're doing the rolling compensation. We should roll the wheel instead. Why do you think that is? Right.
Basically, as you know, as I said before, Hunter is an engineering company.
Yes.
Very strict, and we are approved by most of the OEMs for our equipment to be used either in their audit centers, in their facilities where they manufacture the vehicles, and also for the after service areas. Right?
And they got those approvals after rigorous testing, both sides talking to each other, right?
Correct. These are very rigorous testing, and after that, and if they think that we pass through the same system, our equipment are approved in that sense. Okay. Coming back to your question of why we push the vehicle from the back.
Sure.
Yeah. Again, two factors here, because as you see vehicle, there's a suspension.
Yes.
Right. So during that compensation period, first thing we want the vehicle to be pushed on a straight line, all right, not to steer to the left and right. Number two is we don't want the suspension to have any kind of weight or force, right, which might later even shift the readings, right? Okay, especially the readings for toe and camber.
Yes.
So it's very, very important to take off the load from there and move the vehicle in a straight line forward.
Okay, and this is things that Hunter knows, because they they employ 100+ engineers,
correct,
that also work together with the OEM manufacturers of the cars to get these approvals. So that might be the difference between a Hunter aligner that has an OEM approval with another aligner that may not have OEM approval, but maybe they say, oh, you can use our aligners with 2 posts or something, for example, right? Okay. So have you noticed any or heard any differences in results, like crooked steering wheels or poles?
This is one of the areas where a lot of focus. If you follow the guidelines, right, and if you go step by step, I think everything will be
will be fine, right?
Fine, right.
That's the question though, is like following it step by step.
The problem is a lot of this guys, they take shortcuts.
Yeah.
Right? So when you start taking shortcuts, then you start having all these problems.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even a shortcut either. Sometimes maybe that's just the way they've learned on a different machine.
Right.
And maybe the other machine isn't an engineering company. They don't tell you that you have to push it by the wheel.
I mean, basically a basic first thing that you do is to compensate.
Right.
And a lot of guys don't even do that. Right. It just takes a few seconds to do it, and I don't understand why that is.
I think I've seen some machines that allow you to skip the compensation. So I think maybe that's the difference between a trading company and an engineering company, for example. Okay. So do you have anything else you wanted to add, or parting thoughts or hopes for the Indonesian automotive industry?
Indonesia is a big country, Kevin.
Yes.
You have a population of
close
to 300 million, I would say, right? And you have a big middle income group, right? And in sense of vehicle sales, I think soon you're going to be number one.
Wow.
Right? In Asia.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the number of Chinese manufacturers that are setting up factories here.
Yes.
Right?
A lot of new factories here.
EVs especially.
They're getting ready to tap into this new market, this growing market.
Right. And with the right government support that you're having right now, and the raw materials for manufacture of EV batteries, I think it should be
a lot of growth in the future.
Right. I think if I look at Southeast Asia, I would say that Indonesia will be number one. I have the highest confidence in that.
So we have a lot of work to do here.
Right, big population, big car population, big,
Absolutely.
So certainly I think there's a lot of good things coming.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Aftar, for your time. I hope our viewers have found this conversation as interesting and as eye-opening as me. If our viewers are more interested in learning more about you or your company, where can they go?
You can contact me directly. Yeah. My email can be easily available through Imam Putra. Yeah. Or you can go to hunter.com. Yeah. And if you need more information on the equipment and the company history, just log on to www.hunter.com, and there's lots of pages. I show you that, videos and technical information and everything that you can find.
Yes.
Yeah, to help you. Even we have training aids, right? You can log on and go through training modules.
Okay.
So we have lots of information there.
Yes. Well, thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
This has been a pleasure, and I look forward to our next meeting.
Sure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Himawan Putra, mitra Anda terpercaya usaha bengkel Anda.